Where am I? This is a lot. This is scurry. I have never recorded myself speaking to the camera like this in real time. I'm really very comfortable with making artistic videos where I pre-record things, where I write out meticulously what I want to say. You know, I get to edit it, I get to condense it, I get to flesh it out exactly how I want to say it, and I'm much more comfortable in that realm, no matter how vulnerable that message may be. I feel called to show up. I feel called to be here in front of the camera, to get over my fear, and just share a little bit about my life, about where I'm at on my journey. So I'm currently in my hometown. It's in central Illinois. It's a small town of like 12,000 people. I grew up here. I grew up, what, quote, poor, you know. I grew up very low income, and so I've had to wait tables to save up a bunch of money to go on these long trips, and then just to always end up finding myself back here in my hometown. I'm 37 years old, and that cycle has repeated itself constantly throughout my life. It's kind of like this: I'm going to save up a bunch of money and I'm going to go somewhere, or I feel called to go somewhere, and I go do it and I realize, oh, this place isn't for me, or I feel overwhelmed with having to make my way in a world that isn't designed for me to take care of myself. I constantly come back home. I constantly come back home to support, to familial support, you know, to a place where I don't have to work my life away just to pay rent, just to exist. And unfortunately, the place that I call home is a place that I feel like an alien. I don't feel like this is my culture. I don't feel that I can unfold here. I don't feel that I can be fully vulnerable and fully myself here. I've never felt that way. And it makes me feel guilty sometimes, because so many people are supporting me here, and so many people are supportive here. I mean, the place I work right now has been incredibly supportive to me, and incredibly allowing, and it's just been a good place for healing. This is the first time I've actually come back, and you know, I actually had an opportunity to go to Austin a couple of years ago. I had chosen, okay, I'm gonna go back to Austin. Oh my God, everything's such a long story. I'll get into things, but we're just gonna roll with this story. But I'd been traveling, I went to Hawaii, and I thought I was gonna love Hawaii and live there. Like the year before that, I traveled across country trying to find a place that I could call home, and nothing felt right. Like I went to New Mexico, I went to Arizona, California. I've been, like the last few years, I've been all over the place, and a lot of the time I was looking for a place to call home. And I've lived in Austin, in 2019, I lived in Austin for a year and then came back when the pandemic hit. Most recently, when I came back, I told myself, okay, I'm gonna move back to Austin because I know I love Austin. And I came home and I'm like, we're gonna make this happen. Like my grandpa randomly gave me $2,000, here you go, I wanna help you move to Austin. You gave me some money. I already had some, but he had, the money was there. And then, an apartment miraculously lined up. Like even the woman that was helping me get the apartment was like mind blown that this specific type of apartment that I wanted and the price range I wanted, like she was just like, this is crazy, like, but they're willing to work with you. Like I wasn't there yet. I got a job, so it was like, okay, yeah, we'll hire you when you get here. Let's start this. So everything was lined up, and I just had this gut feeling that if I go back to Austin this time, it's just going to be the same thing. I'm just going to keep hitting that brick wall of feeling overwhelmed and feeling like I can't afford my life, and feeling like I have to like kill myself just to exist freely in the culture I want to exist in. So I made the very difficult decision to say no to all of those doors that had opened up for me. That's when I really started getting serious about like my art, you know, creating my videos for YouTube, and realizing and wanting to build a foundation, and wanting to create some sort of stable foundation that when I do leave, to go home, to travel, to go and be and do who I need to be, I'm going to create a situation where I have money coming in online. I have money coming in consistently through the channel. I have another YouTube channel I actually started called Little Flower Tarot. I'm actually going to make a video right after this one for the tarot channel. So I'll put a link down below if you want to check that out. But yeah, so that's my goal, is to create this foundation, build this foundation before I take off. And in my new goal and my new decision that I've made is that this coming spring, which would be spring of 2025, I am going to actually camp, go across the country and camp in my RAV4. I'm going to take the back seats out of my RAV4. It's a 2000 RAV4. It's the best little car. I'm going to take the back seats out and I'm going to turn it into like a little mini camper. And I'm actually going to travel across the country and yeah, and then my goal is to move around the country and just go, like be free, you know, like go wherever I want to go, and end up in Austin. That's the goal. We'll see if that's what ends up happening. But yeah, so it really felt like this full-bodied decision, even though my YouTube channels aren't, like, they only have like in between 1 and 200 subscribers right now. So I don't know, I just have this really strong gut feeling that things are shifting for me, and that by the time spring rolls around, I'm going to have income. I'm going to have the ability to do that. And not only travel, you know, and camp, but not be so broke, not feel like I'm so broke and I'm so worried about money and I'm so scrounging. And, you know, that's been my entire life. Anytime I've actually gotten to go and leave, I've been worried and tight and fearful that I won't be able to support myself financially. And I just have this strong gut feeling that everything is going to be okay for this spring. So something I also want to do is share that journey with you, share the journey of renovating my RAV4 into a mini camper. And I want to share everything. I want to share things. Like, I want to like be on the camera and share my journey with you, my spiritual journey, my actual physical journey, the places I travel to, the things I do. Not only do I want to create my more artistic videos, the ones where I write what I need to say, where I create a message, and where I, you know, record beautiful footage in nature and put music and my voice on it. Those are what most of my videos are. I want to start showing up this way as kind of like a video diary type of thing. But yeah, I think something I want to talk about is being here in my hometown and how I felt since I've been back. And the cycle I've always been in when I end up here is like, when I leave, I have like a fear of being like stuck, like being sucked back into my hometown and then being like stuck. And when I do get sucked back in and I'm stuck, like that's all I feel. It's like, oh my God, I'm stuck in my hometown. And it's all about money. It's all about money. And it's about feelings of lack and and it's also about what I've come to realize, what it's actually mainly about is not about money. It's not about the physical circumstances. It's about my own internal drive, my own kind of like relinquishment of power to money, to like lack or money, like money, because I've given too much power to money, you know, or the lack of money. So what I've come to realize recently is that I don't know what happened or what shifted, but actually I do know what shifted. A friend of mine, it was weird, like he just asked me like, are you doing anything this summer? What are you doing this summer? I'm like, oh, nothing. Like in my head, I'm like, I don't really have that much money, so like I'm not gonna go anywhere or do anything. Like I've kind of just resigned to being here and being stuck in the same loops and cycles that I've been in. You know, I'm still creative and I'm still open and I'm still like self-exploratory, and I do love my life. You know, I love being me and experiencing my life as Krista, even if it is in this small town, even if it is in this culture that isn't like my favorite. You know, I still enjoy my life, but he was like, no, you need to go somewhere. It was just like this jump start. And he's like, okay, why don't you go to the Indiana Dunes? And he told me about this place on Lake Michigan, and it's just a few hours away. And I decided to go. And I don't know what it was about that, but I hopped, I planned it out. And whenever I packed up my stuff to camp and I hopped in the car and I just started driving, I don't know what happened, but I feel like that was the moment that I exited the matrix of that I had mentally created of this town that I'm existing within. It was like something jump started me. He jump started my sense of power, inner power, to change my circumstances, when before I would just be like, oh no, this is just the circumstances, so I'm not going to do it. So by him doing that and just pushing me and being like, no, you need to make the decision first, and then the resources start to show up. And sure enough, the resources started showing up. Like, my aunt ordered 2 gift cards for tarot readings for her friends, and stuff like that. Things just started aligning. And I was like, okay, I have the money to go do this. And so that was the moment, I think. And I didn't realize that's what was happening at the time. But now looking at it, I was literally exiting the matrix of my bullshit thinking and of this small town mindset thinking, of lack mindset. I was exiting that. And ever since then, I have felt kind of above all of those feelings of feeling stuck, of feeling trapped, of feeling like things are impossible, things aren't moving. I don't know. I feel like I'm free of it now. And it's not perfect. You still have those kind of weird, wafting fears or wafting negative thoughts or wafting lower vibrations that kind of come through and try to tell me certain things that I want to do are impossible, or how's it going to work, or it didn't work before, so why would it now? You have that stuff come through, but it doesn't have a hold on me anymore. I know I'm existing on this new plane of reality where if I make a decision to do something and I feel like a full-bodied yes in that decision, then I know that all of the resources are going to, everything, all the pieces of the puzzle and all of the resources are going to show up, and all of the guidance is going to show up. The other missing piece of the puzzle is that I need to be starting to make some money online, and I need to see some growth in my YouTube channels. So that it has to happen. I feel embarrassed talking about it right now, because I know right now as I'm speaking, this soulhearken channel has 195 subscribers, and I know it needs to grow. And same with my Little Flower Tarot channel. It has 120 or something. Anyway, it's gonna grow. It's gotta grow. So just a vulnerable, bold statement I'm making right now. That's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about how I believe that if you want to free yourself, you can free yourself. And I also believe that sometimes it takes time, and sometimes God humbles you, and sometimes detours are necessary. So it might be a paradox, but not really. I really feel like everything kind of balances itself out. This cycle I've been in, I feel like this is so hard. I just feel stupid for talking about a goal. A bumblebee. The bee is my logo for Little Flower Tarot. So, anyway, it's just taken me this long to it's all about just waking up to your inner power. That's really what it is. Your power to change your circumstances. And also your faith that the universe, the divine, whatever it is that you subscribe to or exists all around you to help you manifest and create the life you want. Your faith in knowing that when you make a full-bodied decision that is truly aligned with your soul. Ooh, what kind of bird is that? Hi, buddy. When you make a full-bodied decision that is truly inspired and aligned with your soul, everything will line up to support that decision. And your power is so amazing that even if you make a decision that maybe isn't fully aligned or isn't fully going to get you exactly where you want to be, like how I made when I decided when I was coming home from Hawaii that I was going to move to Austin, and everything lined up. But I said no because I knew in my gut that I needed to do something different and I needed to build a foundation. And sure enough, there were a lot of heavy things that I needed to pass through and walk through in the past 2 years that I couldn't have done if I didn't have my family's support, if I didn't have like the stability and security and familiarity of my hometown and this space. I couldn't have done that. I did some deep inner child, the scariest healing work I've ever walked through. I did here in the past 2 years. And all root chakra, root level stuff, inner child stuff, ancestral stuff that was not what I would have ever expected I'd have to walk through. But for me to make that decision to stay here, it was this gut feeling of like, no, I need to be somewhere secure. I need to be supported. I need to be able to move slowly. I need to be able to nurture my soul. I need to be able to stay in my creativity, stay in my voice, stay in my humility, stay in my true self, like stay in my authenticity. And I need the spaciousness to be able to take care of myself. So I stayed. And I know one day, like I'm starting to feel and understand why I had to be here. And I know one day it will make even more sense when I'm like fully risen out of the space and on a stable foundation that has honored my past as opposed to like disdained it. I kind of had this feeling like, oh, okay, maybe when I finally accept where I'm at is when I'll get to transcend it. But that wasn't really, no, that wasn't it. It was more like, because now it's not about me accepting where I'm at. I fully don't accept living here long term. I don't accept it at all. But I feel detached from it. There were like thoughts that were controlling me for the past couple of years, and my inability to show up online like this, like even showing up online like this, I was concerned about like people in this town and what they'd think of me, or people online that follow me that are like from high school or from, you know, just people like from around here, from this culture, like what would they think, you know? And like I let that hold me back from just being myself and transcending everything in order to be myself and show up as myself. I let that kind of hold me back and hold me down. No longer. I don't, I'm not limiting myself anymore. And I am okay with being here. And one of the reasons I'm okay with being here is because I know it's temporary. I trust more than ever that I can relax and I can slowly build the life I want, a life of ease, a life of play, a life of like connection to nature, of travel, of freedom, of adventure. I know I can slow and steadily build that life. In fact, that's why I came back, you know, to start at the ground level. And a lot of that had to do with healing insecurities. So my overall vision for soulhearken, and it has been since the beginning, is to create healing mechanisms for people, is to focus on soul retrieval, focus on soul exploration. I want to create guided healing mechanisms. I don't know if there's any other way I could describe it other than guided healing mechanisms. It's kind of like these guided experiences that I want to create for people to help you truly have like a visceral experience of your own true, authentic, unique soul essence. And through doing that, kind of like learning who you are and realizing who you're not, and reclaiming parts of yourself that are lost in the darkness, lost in your fears, lost in your anxieties, lost in your self-judgment, your self, the shame you put on yourself. I want to help people walk through those heavier parts of themselves and retrieve like the hidden treasure, the pieces of your soul that are lost there, and bring them back in with love and help people feel more whole and just more embodied. Like, that's my main vision and goal for soulhearken. And up until this point, I have created some guided meditations, but I have something I've been sitting on, and it's an inner child healing course. I don't know if I would call it a course. It's more like, what would I call it? I would call it, well, I wanted to call it like inner child synthesis. So it's a healing mechanism that has like 4 or 5 parts, and it's literally like exploring the landscape of your soul. Like one part is called the tree house, one part is called the cave, one part is called the meadow, and then one part is called like the river or the creek. So it's like exploring this landscape, but meeting an aspect of your inner child within that space, reintegrating an aspect of your inner child within that space. So that's the actual healing mechanism I've been sitting on for the past few years that I haven't, like, I've started on it, I've worked on it, but I haven't fully put it out there. And I think the reason is because I've been doing more foundational healing for myself for the past few years. And if you watch some of my videos, you'll kind of see the heaviness and the weight of what I went through. But it's totally like sparkled, like sprinkled with hope. All of my videos are sprinkled with hope. Yes. So ultimately, yes. The guided healing mechanisms are my main focus and my main intention and my main vision for the entire channel. I also have a vision to help restore the prairie. That's like life goals. I want to grow my Little Flower Tarot channel just because I love doing it and it's fun and it's interesting, and I love tarot cards and I love oracle cards, and I love using my voice and using my own kind of internal oracle to transmit messages of healing and hope. So that's something I want to do. I mean, there's just so much I want to do and build and create, and I know I need to kind of put myself out there in order to get there. So here I am. I'm Krista. Hi. I hope somehow this video has been helpful, or I don't know, one way or another. It was something scary that I decided to do, and I'm doing it. So, yep. I don't really know what else to say. So all I can say is thank you for being here. Thank you for your presence. I'll work on being more in a flow and everything, and not feeling insanely awkward and sad about feeling like I can't do this because I want to do it. I want to show up, I want to figure this whole thing out. But yeah, thank you for being here. I will just share more later because it feels open-ended, unending right now. I'm like, is there a moral to this? I don't know, but I'll share more later probably. So, all right, thanks. Bye.